I was talking to a friend about faking sick days, and we got onto this topic of a colleague that I used to work with. So one Friday afternoon, she was manning a task, it was just before a long weekend, and that task had to be manned and had to be done that day. Anyway, she burst into tears at her desk and she had this huge migraine, and I felt so sorry for her. So I sent her home with a little care pack, and I jumped in, did the task, and ended up working some of the weekend, only on the following Tuesday to overhear her saying how, she'd gotten away really easily on the Friday afternoon and had a great weekend away. So my friend said to me straight away, "That's because you're a sucker." She said it in a nice way, but I'm embarrassed to say that the key to owning me is to really appeal to my sense of empathy. And I think that my natural bias is just to want to reach out, to fix, to help as much as I can. And I think it comes from that thing as a kid where you're kind of told it's good to be a nice person and to help other people out. But unfortunately for me, I know this has definitely impacted my judgment, clouded my judgment with respect to making decisions in the way that I'm going to behave personally and professionally. I found this really interesting because this empathy thing is my Achilles heel, and I'm not at all saying, oh, I'm so nice and that's an issue, because I'm not. It's just that this kind of empathy, being a sucker, can lead me to making bad personal and professional decisions like I did with that colleague that day. So how do I stop being a sucker? Firstly, I will always behave with empathy, and I think it's really important to always have that. It's the being the sucker bit that I've got to work on. So one of the tips I was given is just when I notice that emotional response come up of wanting to help and do everything and fix it, is just to shut up for 5 seconds so that I can think about the situation and figure out if all of that support would actually just play into the stress and the drama of it, or if there's a better response that I could have. Second, avoiding unconditional statements is another awesome tip that I got. So that 5 seconds of keeping my mouth shut is really important so that I don't just blurt out something like, oh my gosh, let me do whatever I can, and all these big unconditional statements. So 5 seconds stops those unconditional statements and helps me say something that's way more relevant and shaped around and correct for that situation. So I started putting these tips into practice, and I have to admit that my detector is still not awesome, but I am improving on the level of being a sucker, getting better slowly. But do you guys have any tips? Do you find yourself in this situation, or are you really good at not ever being a sucker? In which case, please put it all into the comments below. I would love to hear about how you're handling it and to receive some more ideas on how to handle this too. I hope that you're having a great week. I'll see you next week, and don't forget, do everything before you're ready. Bye.